Hello friends, I thought I'd give you guys a little walk around our property for the spring. We have been working outside quite a lot. I say we, I mean my husband and my kids. I have not been out doing a whole lot because I'm still recuperating with my knee and I don't want to set myself back. But I'm standing at the end of our driveway at the road and I thought I'd walk you through our property and show you what's coming up and what I plan to do this year as far as plants and such go. But we are having a graduation open house on June 10th here in our property in our front yard, and so we're really trying hard to get the place spruced up. My husband's been working all weekend on cleaning up by the barn. There's the barn, and that's not our barn technically. It's not on our property, but we use it. I mean, we don't really use it. Let me rephrase that. My dad has his rabbits are still in there, and a few of his chickens are still in there, and they've kind of become our responsibility since he's become so sick. But I think we're going to do something with the rabbits, get rid of them. And anyway, here's some hosta plants, and they seem to do pretty well there, and it's about the only thing that will grow there because we have these 3 trees that completely shade it. Grass won't even grow. I don't have to weed it or anything. So there's the hostas. And then over here I have my daylilies. And when I first planted these here years ago, they did better than they do now because it was more sunny in this spot. But of course, over the years, all the trees have grown and it's more shady here now. But I just haven't had the energy or the desire to transplant them. And I really don't have any other place to transplant them. So they just do what they do and I don't worry about it. They keep the weeds from growing up in there, so. And they do have pretty flowers, not every year, but some years they have some really pretty flowers in there. Then over here is our big oak tree. Of course it doesn't have any leaves yet, but it will. And the kids' swing set. They don't really play on it much anymore, obviously. Olivia does sometimes with her cousin. They'll come out and swing. And then this is my rock garden, and it's mostly full of hostas right now. I need to mulch it. I had some of this black weed barrier stuff down, and it's poking up. So I want to mulch it really good. And I'm thinking about transplanting some irises in there. Maybe. I haven't decided for sure. But the hostas are starting to come back. And they do pretty well in there. They get pretty big and full by the middle of the summer. But I definitely want to clean it out good and mulch it. And then we've got our lilac bushes. And they were bushes and now they've become more like trees. They're very tall. We've tried pruning them a few times and we're just not good at pruning stuff, I guess. We should have just never let them get that tall. But Scott is planning on pruning those down this year. A couple of feet anyway, because they're starting to get up into the oak tree, the branches of the oak tree. And then over here, this huge patch is lily of the valley. And it was a small patch, and it's totally gone crazy, spread like crazy. And there's lilac bushes, volunteer ones coming up in there, which I need to get pulled out. But this is another one where I just let it do what it's going to do. Scott mows it down and kind of keeps it, not the whole patch, but he'll trim it down to try to keep it from going everywhere. And they have beautiful white flowers that smell really good in the spring. They're starting to put some buds on. if you can see. But I love the smell of lily of the valley. And then here's the front of the house, and this is where we're going to have our open house. We'll have the tables and stuff, canopies and things set up here. And I'm going to get some flower pots to put along the edge of the deck and plant some annuals in there. And we're going to pressure wash the house. It always gets that green algae stuff on there every year. So we're going to pressure wash the house. And then coming up on this side of the house, this is my honeysuckle vine. And it really needs a good pruning. It has beautiful flowers. And this is the main like mother plant. And it just doesn't seem to be doing so great. I haven't decided what to do. I'm tempted to just yank it out of there and get a new one and start over, but I kind of hate to do that because it's very established. And the thing is that along this side of the house, I have not done anything with this little garden spot in a very long time. I'm just not really fond of gardening too much. And when my mother was sick, I just didn't have time, and excuses, I know. But now I really want to get this spot spick and span and cleaned out, and I want to make it a butterfly garden. I want to get some butterfly bushes and other flowers that butterflies like and make this into a butterfly garden, and I want to get it done before the open house. So these are the irises that I want to transplant, and I know this isn't the right time of year, but if they don't make it, I don't care. They need to go. This right here, stuff right here. Can you see where I'm pointing? I can't see. It's so bright out here I can't see what my camera lens is doing. But that is part of the honeysuckle vine. It fell down off the trellis and is growing along there. So I think I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to prune it back because it makes a really nice edging. So I think I'm just going to prune it back and leave that there. And then in here I have some Live Forevers that my mother gave me. Ouch! I just grabbed a hold of a sticker. Ouch! This Live Forever. I want to keep those in there. And then I've got a volunteer raspberry bush. Bird droppings must have planted it there, and that's what I just dabbed my finger on. But that's got to come out. And then there's a couple little pitiful little Live Forevers here, and I think I'm going to just pull those out and just keep these over here. And then I'm going to plant a butterfly bush here and maybe one on the other side and some annuals. But we've got that big mess to clean up. Olivia got started on it, but it's a lot of work. It's bad for me because I can't bend down. So I don't know. I'll try to do as much as I can, but it's really difficult. And then this is the fire escape window well for our basement. So we have to try to keep that clear. And then over here in this corner is a forsythia bush that I bought and planted here, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And I never knew how to prune it or anything, and it's gone crazy. And I finally found out that you're supposed to prune it after the blossoms are gone. So within a couple of days, I mean, it looks like the blossoms are dying now. I'm going to prune this down. And I want it to be kind of like a round, smaller bush, not a big, giant, crazy, sprawling mess that it is now. And then back in here behind it are more irises amongst all the jungle of weeds. And those irises I'll keep. Pepper's scratching at the door because she sees me out here. So I think I'll keep those irises in there, and it'll just be a forsythia bush and some irises. And all that other jungle of mess needs to come out of there. So that's the main project I want to get done before the party. So then in our backyard, we don't have a whole heck of a lot going on back here. It doesn't do well, it doesn't grow. As you can see, I've got lots of sand. The grass is very patchy, and it's very lush and green right now, but a lot of that are weeds that come up in the spring and then they die. So by the end of June or July, it's a mess. It's just not a pretty yard. And that's why we ended up building our coop back here. Because I told my husband, it's like we can't get grass to grow, so we might as well put a coop back here. So that's worked out really well. And so this is the back of our property. The kids are raking. We got a huge bonfire going because we've been hauling so much brush. And there's our compost barrel. And my husband's tent garage. We're raking inside the duck yard. So yeah, the kids are raking the leaves from around the edge of the fence. And this is our back. We call it the way back, the back of our yard. And this is where we haul brush. And once we get a big pile of brush, then we burn it back here. And today was the perfect day because we just had rain, and today the wind is like no wind. So, perfect day for that. And then here, that's just a pile of junk that needs to be hauled away, and it will. My husband doesn't leave stuff junk laying around, so he'll take care of that. But underneath this tree is where we bury all of our pets. Right there is where my cat Rascal's buried. He died, I don't know, 10 years ago probably. So yeah, this is our back of our property, and our property goes clear back to past those trees. There's a fence row back there, and that's where our property ends, back there. And then over here, these trees are black locust, and my husband uses them for fence posts, because they're tall and straight and not too fat. So he uses those for fence posts. And someday I'd like to get some goats back in there. Put a fence up and put some goats back in there. Maybe. Or some donkeys. And so here's the back side of my coop. And there's tarps that need to come down. I tell you what, this winter has been terribly hard on the tarps. I don't know if we just had extra wind or what. But usually they don't shred like that. And then there's our fire pit. We have campfires several times through the summer. Come out and cook hot dogs and roast marshmallows. And back on this side of the fence is where our rabbits are at. We just have 2 rabbits. They're in that pen up there. Actually, Olivia's rabbits, but since my dad's been sick and she's been taking care of all of his rabbits, I take care of these rabbits. So I've kind of adopted them as mine. And of course they're inside their little house, so you're not going to be able to see them. And soon, within a couple of weeks, we'll take those tarps off of there. We tarp them up in the winter, and they stay nice and cozy in there. They've done really well inside their little rabbit house. And so then this is the back around to the front of the house again. Our property goes about, I'm not sure how far into the woods it goes on that side. somewhere out there is a property line, like tent or property surveyor's post or whatever. I don't know what they're called. That defines where your property line is. And here's the deck on the front of our house, and we're going to pressure wash the deck too. And this is where we grill. That's our charcoal grill. So that's pretty much all of our property. Like I said, the barn and my coop, both of my chicken coops, are technically on my sister's property, but she doesn't live out here and she probably never will, so she doesn't care if we put stuff on her property. And in fact, someday I'd kind of like to buy her section off of her if she's never gonna move out here, and then that way we can feel like we can do stuff more permanently. But this is my brooder house. This is where I raise all my meat chickens, and of course it's empty right now. And then this is the hen house. These are technically my dad's chickens, but he's been so ill he can't take care of them, and so the kids have been doing it, and we've been collecting the eggs and selling what we don't use. And so yeah, those are the killing cones we use when we at butchering time. And then there's the barn. It's an old, over 100 years old barn, and it's needed a new roof for years, and just have never had the funds to fix it up. So eventually it's going to have to come down. But the only part that's really used is this section in here. Ouch! Just hurt my knee. It's alright, chicky doos. Some of the free rangers. But my dad's rabbits are in here, and it needs desperately to be cleaned out. We had it all nice and clean before winter, and of course, you know, winter comes and you can't clean it in the winter. So that is on our to-do list very soon, is to get this all cleaned out again for the spring. So now we're going to go over and take a look at our garden spot. It's actually in my dad's property, and but my sister and I are going to help him with the garden this year. I have no clue what we're going to plant. These are some of the flowers that my mom planted. And these boxes are their strawberries, but they're not doing very good. Strawberry plants, is it too early? Or did they just not, huh?
They should be up. I don't see any.
I don't see any. How did they die like that?
I don't know. I really don't. I think the twag choked them out. Because if we didn't have a severely cold winter enough to kill it.
There's an awful lot of weeds, but I don't see any strawberries. No strawberries left over here. Maybe we should just do tomatoes in it.
That sounds good to me. Different location, different soil.
Yeah, and you put
And
different
it's
types.
higher,
Yep.
so we could actually do something
Yes.
with it. I know I'd want some Roma, but I wouldn't want all Roma because
Right.
those don't make good tomato
Nice big,
juice.
or well, yes, they make really good sauce tomatoes. The great big slicer ones don't make good juice. What makes good juice?
No,
Well, maybe
no.
they do. Maybe they do.
And I don't know that I necessarily want like juice to like drink.
Uh-huh.
I may want more Romas. I'll have to do some,
Meaty. You want the more meaty if you're
because I
gonna
want to
make
do
salsa.
like salsa and tomato sauce and spaghetti sauce.
Romas are excellent for all of that.
So maybe we'll just do maybe like 3 plants of Romas in
And then
one,
the slicers,
and then
table tomatoes in the other.
yeah.
A nice heirloom variety.
I don't think Dad'll care.
I don't think so.
And I don't care if we don't do green beans because I don't like them.
My kids won't eat them. I love fresh green beans. So if you want to plant 2 or 3
Bushes.
plants,
Yeah.
that'd be enough for all of us to have a couple meals.
Yep. Because Mom kept giving me green beans that last summer that she could garden. I threw most of them away. I don't like them. They're crunchy and they squeak in my teeth. And
That's exactly what my kids say.
I don't
love
like them. I like them canned.
I love them raw. I like them steamed. I like them crunchy. I
we're getting
started
into-
trying to weed some over here. Every little spot that I pulled up weeds is back. Look at that, right there. All of that. That was clear to the dirt.
And I don't see any asparagus.
Nope.
Which I guess maybe it's not.
No,
Well,
we're in the middle of
it
April. This should be up.
We should have some. We had tons last year.
Yeah. They should be popping up.
So here's the garden patch, garden spot that we're going to be using. I'm not sure what we're going to plant in here, but not a lot, because my dad can't eat a lot. And this was where our asparagus bed is, but I don't see any asparagus coming up yet. And we should be seeing it soon if it's going to come back. And over here, these were strawberry beds, and all of the strawberries are dead. For some reason, they did not come back. So I think we're going to plant tomatoes in these raised beds this year. My sister and I were talking about it. I need to talk to my dad, but I think that's what we're going to do. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and get home. I got some bread that's rising and probably ready for the oven. And so I just wanted to give you guys a little tour of our property here. Between my plot and my sister's and my dad's, we have about 6 acres. And although it's not all mine, we have 2 acres. We use it all, so we have a pretty good piece of land. Now this mess was blueberry bushes at one time that my mom had tried to do, and the raspberries, wild raspberries, and all the other junk has just completely taken it over. So we are going to take this frame down and grub all of that out and clear all of that out and extend the chicken yard so that they have more space. All right, friends, that's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching, and we will talk to you all later. Bye.